Well, it's September 9th, which is a Friday. As the quote from the movie Friday, it's Friday, you ain't got no job, you ain't got no shit to do. But here on Deleted Wrestle Zone, we're going to be reviewing, of course, a much past of, well, this event was from Garden State Pro Wrestling. As you know, this is a brand new promotion that just started 2 months ago. I did not see the recent one, which is Thy Kingdom Come, where we crown a brand new Garden State Pro Wrestling Openweight champion, which features Alan Angels involved in this tournament. And we're going to see other matches taking place. But also, we're going to be reviewing AEW Rampage, which also continues on with, of course, the one of the matches involving for the Grand Slam cha- Tournament of Champions that will lead us straight to Arthur Ashe. And then, of course, we got who's going to be leveling up. But also, we got some news updates to share what's been going on in the world of pro wrestling. So, let's get ready for another episode of the Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Welcome everybody to Deleted Wrestle Zone, all things that it's pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Impact Wrestling, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, Gerard here. So, let's begin with Garden State Pro Wrestling, Thy Kingdom Come. This took place, I believe, on the 27th of August. Now as I may be a month late, but I finally got the chance to see it. Now, our opening match was a very interesting one where we feature the Super Asia Championship, which is the title to Gatu Move, being held by Balinaki. So it was very interesting that this title was put on the line, but the opponent, I wasn't sure if it was the right opponent, but we all know who it is Tony Deppen. So Balinaki had his work cut out, but I have to say Balinaki and Tony Deppen really did a pretty good job because if you guys know, Tony Deppen has a bit of the groundwork. Balinaki does have that same kind of style, groundwork, wrestling stuff that we see where we see submissions, but he was able to pick up the victory when he applied the splash onto him and it was over. Now, our next two matches are involving the semifinals of the Garden State Pro Wrestling Openweight title. Now, this thing started about a month ago, well, 2 months ago, since we're right now in September, to crown a champion because since this is a brand new promotion, it would make sense. Now, first match, we have Brian Keith versus Titus Alexander. Now, Alexander has played his part where he's trying to cheat his way through to ensure he gets to the top, say that he runs the West Coast, and now he's going to run the East Coast. But the bounty hunter, he's not going to let that happen. So it's more like put up or shut up and pay up. That sort of mentality. And I think it was a pretty good one. But however, I saw that Titus Alexander might have hurt his leg that allowed him to think that he might have it. But however, it did not work. He put him in the Tiger Driver. Brian Keith won, and he continues on to the finals. That was later be the main event. Now, our second match involving that is Alan Angels, formerly known as Five, takes on Robert Martyr. Now, Martyr had some fair issues against Alan Angels in the past, saying that you had your chance. Now it's time for guys like him to take his turn. Now, however, as you know, Alan Angels is currently making a name for himself ever since he was released from AEW, and that sort of thing played out pretty well. But however, he low blowed and then he did the exalted clothesline onto Robert Martyr in order to win. Now, this is a side of Alan Angels I did not anticipate to see. So it looks more like he'll do anything to cut the corners to reach the top. Now our next match we have we have Starboy Charlie versus Yoya. Now I did not anticipate a whole lot with Yoya because Starboy Charlie because he was showing a bit of the aggression out on Yoya, saying trying to ensure that he win. But however, he did win when he applied a tombstone, not once but twice, in order to win the match. So I thought it was a pretty good one. Next up, we got Sunny Kiss taking on Kid Bandit. Now, this was a very special match to Kid Bandit. As you know, it may have known, Kid Bandit admired Sunny Kiss because if you guys know their backgrounds, they're both transition or something like that, and I think that would make a lot of sense. But however, it was Sunny Kiss with a rollback onto Kid Bandit in order to win the match. But however, Sunny Kiss gave a beautiful promo talking Kid Bandit that no matter what, that you're not afraid to show who you really are. And I think, Sunny's really admired Kid's courage of who he's becoming. And I think that's what matters the most. And I think Kid broke into tears hearing that from him, it makes him so happy. So I thought it was a pretty emotional match. So, it was pretty good. Now, I don't know why in the hell this next match was a triple threat, but this guy was involved already in a match. He was not happy. We have Titus Alexander versus Michael Oku versus Matt Sydal. I don't know what in the world was going on, but however, I feel like this match kind of put him in a way where how do I say this? It was more like a revenge plot, knowing that yes, I lost in the semifinals. I'll get my revenge, that sort of thing. But he did when he used some unknown weapon onto Michael Oku to win it. No one saw it, but I'm sure Michael Oku, if he does come back, he'll get his revenge against him one way or the other. Now, our next match, I have to say, this is a lucha libre style match. We have the Black Generation, Elemento, and Bendito taking on those Vipers, Aries y Latigo. Now, I'm a big fan of the Vipers because if you guys know this, the Vipers date back all the way to Cibernetico, Psicosis, I forgot who else, Abismo Negro, those guys. And I was amazed with this particular match, but it was a double crossbody that picked up the win by those Vipers. I thought it was a great match. There was a fan in the front that broke into tears because this is the kind of match that he's into. And I think everybody loves lucha libre. If you guys are from like the northern era, you know this is the kind of match you're like, holy shit, and that sort of thing plays out pretty well. So that's what I like. Now our next match, we have a bit of a three-way tag match. We have Marcus Mathers and Trey Lamar taking on the Workhorsemen, JD Drake and Anthony Henry versus Bussy, Ali Catch, and Effie. But however, Bussy were attacked by the Workhorsemen, tried to ensure that they were the ones to pick up this match. That was the whole point. Now the Workhorsemen are trying to say they are the real deal in the tag team division, and I think that's why this match was put out. So I think that kind of sets into a better way. However, it was the stomp by Henry, then pin by JD Drake on Effie that gave them the win. However, Garden State Pro received a message from OGK knowing that, okay, they acknowledged about the Workhorsemen, but they forget that these guys are veterans in the game, and I think that's what makes them special. And I think that's what OGK are trying to prove to the Workhorsemen. Like, hey, you guys may be the most well talked about tag team, well, we're the veterans of the game. So I think that's what it tells us. So they will be confronting each other at some point in the next event during the tag team tournament. Now our next match is Shot in the Garden Gauntlet match. We have Dylan McKay, Robert Martyr, Steve Scott, Austin Luke, One Call Manders, and Janai Kai. Now, I don't know who got eliminated first, but however, I thought this match was very interesting because Robert Martyr was in a pissed off mode, knowing that he got screwed out of the semifinals by Alan Angels. But if he won, he gets a shot of the title. But however, it was him with the Dragon Sleeper onto Manders to pick up the win, and he gave this strong promo about how he's pissed off with this whole thing. But there was one thing he wants to do first: is Titus O'Neil. He criticized Robert Martyr in the past, and now he's saying that he's coming for him. But Titus O'Neil decided to give him a beatdown to show him I run the West East Coast now. So that's what he thinks. But we'll see what happens. Now our main event is the Garden State Pro Wrestling Openweight title between Brian Keith and Alan Angels. Now Alan Angels tried to do whatever he can to do things the right way, but however, Brian Keith low blowed Angels, but it did not. It backfired, knowing that even though Alan Angels tried it before, but he used the belt in order to win the match. So he cut corners and he put Brian Keith in a submission, and then of course, out of nowhere, ref called it. It was over. Alan Angels is the new inaugural Garden State Pro Wrestling Openweight champion. So we'll see what happens next month. We'll see who will be his first opponent, but we'll find out later on. So I believe let's move on with our next review. It would be AEW Rampage. Okay, AEW Rampage. Open up with the second match of the Grand Slam Tournament of Champions. We have Darby Allin and Sammy Guevara. Now these two guys are no strangers to each other. This is their fourth time in AEW they confront. However, as you know, Darby said that he will have not Sting by his side, but of course Sammy has his wife, Tay Mello, being by his side. The match was pretty good. There was some good moments. Of course, Ty gets involved, tried to stop Darby from hurting him, and of course, effing Anna Jay shows up, distracts the referee, giving Sammy time to low blow, use the skateboard on Darby's back. However, the obvious question is, will he make it all the way to the finals? Because his next opponent is the purveyor of violence himself, Jon Moxley. But if I was Anna Jay, do not even get involved in this, because it would be disastrous. And I'm sure. But I have a feeling we may see a girl in Blackpool Combat Club. I don't know. What do you guys think? We'll find out. Now, as you know, back in All Out, we saw the return of Samoa Joe and this and that. He was talking about how he's going to make things up. Out of nowhere, Mark Sterling says that Josh Woods deserves a shot of the ROH World Television title due to the fact that, he wants to reward him for saving his life against Wardlow. But however, Samoa Joe said, okay, let's do that right now. But later has been told that's going to take place next week, I believe. So, gotta pay attention to that. Now, Mira, as you know, he is not happy camper. Now, this is something that many fans have talked about this. Why isn't it Miro involved in the Grand Slam Tournament of Champions? Now, if I was going on, I'd say he's going to disrupt whoever wins the match. Trust me. That's going to show the Redeemer's finally going to take matters in his own hands. I hate to be whoever's going to walk out. Now, our next match, we have Madison Rayne versus Serena Deeb. Now, Serena Deeb is very territorial in this type of match because she's threatened by Madison Rayne. We know Madison's Rayne reputation, so she believes Serena Deeb thinks that she runs this place, but however, she did by a lot, putting her in the Serenity Lock 1, 2, 3. It was over. Now we get interviews. The first one we have Jade Cargill and of course the baddies. Apparently Jade Cargill said that nobody has the tendency to take her out because she said she's going to wait until they get to victory number 50. Now that's going to take a while, but however, there is one person my brother mentioned who could be the one to take her out. Well, we just got to wait and see, and you guys may figure that out themselves, but I'm not going to say it right now. Then of course Powerhouse Hobbs had his interview saying that he sees this as an open book, now he's going to go for bigger, better things. Now I hate to say If Ricky starts to come back when the bigger things start happening for him, that's going to be a very interesting rebound from that. Now, our main event, I have to say, this is one of the most amazing main events ever. We have the ROH World Championship between Dax Harwood and Claudio Castagnoli. I thought it was a good match, great moments, technical wrestling style, all of that. But however, I like how they put the sharpshooter as the ending for Claudio, where he do that to Dax Harwood in order to win the match. I thought it was good. I just enjoyed it so much. So it was a proper ending, so we'll just leave it as that. So let's move on with our last review, NXT Level Up. Okay, who levels up on this episode of NXT Level Up? Well, let's find out. Our first match is Bodie Haywood representing Chase U to take on the most dangerous individual on the game, Charlie Dempsey. Now, Dempsey has his fair issues with, of course, Chase U. As you know, Andre Chase beat him a couple of weeks ago. But however, basically what was going on, Dempsey almost could have killed the Chase U students because it was supposed to be an exhibition match. However, he takes on Bodie Haywood, one of the prize students of Chase U. But however, I have to say, Bodie really told a good story. Like, no matter how hard he had to go through a guy like Dempsey who's like a freaking beast, you know he's going to try to put you in a submission. But of course, he had to take a look at Andre Chase eyes telling him, I got your boy, now watch what I'm going to do to him. And of course, Bodie Haywood had no other choice but to tap out. Now, I don't blame Bodie for losing that way, but he knows that he is in excruciating pain by a guy who knows how to give pain. Now, our next match, we have Valentina Feroz versus Sol Ruca. Those who may have been aware now, Sol Ruca is this type of surfer girl. Don't know much about her, but she has been very impressive. However, Valentina Feroz, this is the first time in quite a while that I've seen her now doing singles competition. Normally, she pairs up with Yulisa Leon, known as the Pan American Connection. Uh, as you know, that I thought the storyline between her and Yulisa, as you know, they were a bit of the press, knowing that they lost the tag team titles, but however, Sanga is trying to teach them to get back on the horse, saying, don't give up. So basically, we'll get to that story. But right now, I feel this whole thing with Valentina as a singles competitor was very interesting. So the obvious question is, has Valentina Feroz become better, has adapted more as a singles competitor? Because if you guys remember, not in the early times, Valentina was a singles competitor until somehow she was paired up with Yulisa to form their tag team. But she did pretty well. She did pin Ruka in order to win the match. Pretty interesting. So I'm sure she'll get better at it as a singles competitor. But I'm dying to see her more in tag team competition as well. Now, our main event, we have Ika Manjaro taking on Stax, of part of the D'Angelo family. Stax was dumb enough to take off the jacket of Ika Manjaro. He got it back, but you cannot stop the power of the jacket. But of course, Stax was able to pick up a big victory against him by applying a kick right in the temple, giving him the victory. So I thought it was a good, fun match, but however, Stax was just way too much for Ika Manjaro. So I think that's pretty much it right now. So let's move on with some news updates. Okay, if you guys may have heard what's going on in WWE, I mentioned Chase U. Uh, Today is uh, uh, Thea Hail's birthday, so happy birthday, Thea Hail. She turns 19. That's pretty young, but I have to say, she's a very interesting wrestler to enjoy watching. Not to mention as the high energy wrestler that I've seen since joining Chase U. I thought it was cool. Now, As you know, Chicago-based promotion AAW has already started the commencement of their annual tournament, the Jim Lyon Memorial Tournament. This one will take place on October 14th and October 15th. However, they've been announcing little by little the tournament. I mentioned Yamato from Dragon Gate. Now they announced Mike Bennett will be involved, so this is going to be good. Now, more information about Garden State Pro with upcoming matches involving their next pay-per-view for this month, the Dynasty Clash that will take place on the 16th of this month. We're going to have Yuya Umra of the LA Dojo take on Brian Keith. Now, this is going to be a good match. I can guarantee it. Wrestler Casey Navarro, as you guys know, he made his appearance in House of Glory, Warrior Wrestling, MLW. Well, it's been announced that he is now a free agent. He is no longer signed with MLW. Now, this is something that has been coming to my attention recently. I mentioned Danny Limelight is no longer with MLW. So, as you know, MLW went to a hiatus. It's still unclear what was going on, but that's what's been happening. I just hope for the best of luck for Casey Navarro, and we'll see what happens then. And finally, our last update. Black Label Pro has announced for their upcoming event, Turbo Crops 24, for the opening match. It's going to be Sky Blue, Chicago native, taking on Jungle Kiona. I'm excited for this. This is going to be a good match. I have to say, Sky Blue will be put through the test against someone like Jungle Kiona. I hope everybody watches this match. I'm definitely going to watch it. Definitely. So, I think that's pretty much it right now with the news updates. Let's call it a day. Well, I hope everybody enjoys this episode. Coming up, I'll be releasing 2 videos after this one. The next one's going to be a short one featuring Choco Pro and Gleed. This is something I'm going to be doing by itself, and of course, I'll be throwing some earlier news updates, keeping up with what's been going on. And then, of course, the next one is, I think we may have some New Japan Strong, but I'm also going to catch up with the events with Circle 6 and GCW because I haven't seen those. I'm sure everybody will probably want to hear what the reviews on this one. So I think that's pretty much it right now. So I'll see you guys in the next DWZ time. Same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So, goodbye. And have a nice day. Bang.